proud to tell you that I'm here with a couple of my dear friends. We have Justin Brun and Ben Koller. They are the co-founders of a company you've probably heard about, Dynamic Beacon. Last year, they won the Vendor Shark Tank. And now they are in a position where they want to share a little more in depth. They've always been held to maybe 10 minutes of presentation. And one of the things that we heard last year that was really powerful was how we got to download some resources. So I don't think they'll disappoint. They're going to have some great resources for you to download after this presentation. So gentlemen, take the stage, and if you would, let's help our audience be smarter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, David, for that kind introduction. So we'll go ahead and share our screen and jump right into our presentation. And so just want to thank everyone here for joining us in attendance, listening in our session and presentation entitled Building an Immersive Website and Email Experience. My name is Ben Koller. I'm joined here by my co-founder, Justin Brun. And as David noted, this is a conference that we circle each and every year. Very unfortunate that unfortunately we're unable to do so in person in Lexington, Kentucky. Love that town, love that city. But this is certainly a great alternative, and thank you, David, for putting together this great event.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. Starting first then with some introductions. Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, so again, happy to be here with you all today. For these introductions, we're going to have to go way back to 2005 when Ben and I were working in the Internet Sales Division, a separate standalone division of Acton Toyota of Littleton, a highly successful Toyota dealership in the suburbs of Boston. So over the course of the years in the Internet Sales Division, we were fortunate enough to rise through the ranks to a point where we were overseeing that standalone operation and all of its marketing initiatives. Kind of fast forward today.
Yeah, and so fast forward to today, my photo here is my lovely wife. We were fortunate enough to have a child on September 25th, so a new addition to the family, Sebastian James Koller. You can see him there. And of course then to our golden retriever, Abe. So Abe is definitely a little bit attention starved now that Sebastian's in the picture.
And then that's me photoed with my wife, Christina. We were fortunate enough, we got married last year, and then last December purchased our first home together. So really exciting stuff. And we'd be remiss here if we didn't include a photograph in these introductions of last year's event, the Kain event, where we were fortunate enough to present kind of all things Google My Business and take home that first place Kain Vendor Shark Tank trophy.
Looking great, David, as always.
So let's get into the agenda. What's on the agenda for today? We'll first be looking at kind of all things that encompass an engaging homepage for your dealership website. We'll then move over to the creation of a fully immersive why-buy message. From there, we'll move over to creating a non-disruptive, conversion-optimized vehicle detail page, or VDP.
Next, we'll look at mobile-friendly fixed ops, and in particular, service coupons related to fixed ops and making those extremely mobile-friendly for your customers. Next, we'll look at email best practices, including a couple examples, email examples. And then we'll move into looking at the key takeaways from the presentation itself. And then last but not least, we'll open it up to a Q&A session. And so we're noting, really starting then with the homepage. Really, this is an opportunity with your homepage to really knock them flat with a great first impression. And when those web visitors arrive at your digital brick and mortar, what are we doing then to really captivate, engage that web visitor, move them further then throughout the website and increase the likelihood of conversion? And so really what we wanted to do here is kind of break from the PowerPoint presentation itself and jump to some live web examples. And we're going to start first then with our parent company, Acton Toyota, and look at that homepage. So bear with us just 1 second while we go ahead and do that.
Yeah, so for this homepage example, we really want you, for your own dealership website, to imagine the possibilities and really push that partnership that you have with your existing website provider and or your agency, your digital marketing agency. You're seeing here for Acton Toyota a truly engaging slideshow with clear and concise calls to action and driving shoppers deeper into the website. You're also seeing here the importance of making inventory readily available front and center and prominent with that inventory search widget. We're promoting the real zero-down lease offers for our dealership using engaging video content as the background, promoting the dealership's online stellar reputation and number of reviews, providing quick and easy access for folks to schedule service and engage with the service coupons, kind of promote that fixed operations right here on the homepage. We found it truly successful to have the trade pending widget here. You wouldn't believe when measured just how many form submissions we're getting, how many folks are interested in evaluating their trade-ins right off the homepage for Active Toyota. And of course, you'll see additional video content here hosted on YouTube, further promoting the Active Toyota promise, the value proposition for the dealership. And then adjacent to that, again, a clear and concise call to action, really inviting folks to learn more about the sort of experience that they can expect to receive when shopping or servicing their vehicle at Acton Toyota. As we scroll down, we're leveraging customer reviews, online customer testimonials. We have the ability for customers to experience this big, beautiful 65,000 square foot facility with the Google showroom tour. And then right next to that, the opportunity to learn more about the dealership amenities as well. As we continue to look down here and scroll down on this homepage, we also have promotion of TCUVs, Toyota Certified Used Vehicles. Kind of the next best alternative to a new Toyota is a certified pre-owned one. The dealership's overall standings within the region and then also nationally as well.
So kind of moving back then to the overall presentation and kind of looking at some of the sort of key takeaways, Justin, from what we were just noting. I know basically kind of what we did here is maybe a little bit of a demo or a walk around, if you will, of that homepage.
Correct, yeah. So really those key takeaways here when thinking about creating an engaging homepage, promotion of all dealership profit centers, including obviously service, parts, new and pre-owned vehicles. The representation of that value proposition or why buy message, to accompany that, the incorporation of customer testimonials on the homepage and all throughout the website. We'll make sure that that website and the navigation is set up in such a way that it's able to drive shoppers deeper into the website and provide them greater control. And then last but certainly not least is leveraging video content as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in greater detail throughout the presentation. And really, again, underscoring and emphasizing not to settle and really imagine the possibilities of what your dealership homepage, that first impression, could be for site visitors.
So next we want to transition over and look at that value proposition or that why buy. We saw that with Acton Toyota and the Acton Promise, but wanted to share another example as well. And this image a little bit in jest here in terms of kind of the value prop and messaging from this particular dealership, but really want to hone in on that value proposition messaging as it's displayed on your website. We so often say that the fight to win that car buyer is most often fought and won or lost on the digital battlefield. And so really, again, what are we doing then for those visitors that are visiting our website to really communicate all the great reasons in which to do business with our dealership? And so then again, what we'll do is kind of break here from the presentation and move to a live web example. And in this case, what we're doing here is moving over to Kaiser Ford. And so this is a fairly recent partnership with us, and wanted to share with you their overall why buy message. One thing that they had emphasized to us when we had partnered is really making sure that the message itself was cohesive, consistent, and one thing too is it was a bit fragmented, I think could be the word to use, and they agreed with that because so often over time we're adding certain elements, reasons to do business with us. They get added maybe on one page, not on another, and again now it's very confusing and scattered, and it's not in a central location for that web visitor. And so I would encourage you as a dealership, really look and evaluate your why buy and just see how you're presenting it and making sure it's consistent, cohesive, and centralized for your web visitors. And so we'll just kind of scroll through here and what's been created for Kaiser. And again, too, as we're presenting that why buy, really want to encourage you to think about even just the displaying of the information we talk about walls of text and really wanting to break those down. And so really looking and just keeping it clear, concise within your messaging. The other piece is certain calls to action. And in this case, right now we're looking at a 95-year history, the community contributions that are there. As we scroll further, you also see opportunities then to engage with inventory. But here again is promotion of customer testimonials, incorporation of video. So again, you're seeing a lot of themes even from what we saw on the homepage, right? And again, as we scroll further, you're just seeing how that information itself is presenting and even to how it's appearing. And so kind of these animation effects that come in. And again, even if you're doing this on your own and maybe you don't have the coding capabilities or know-how, that's less important as it relates to just making sure you have all of the information there in an engaging way and you've presented the information to in a straightforward fashion. And again, incorporation of video can really help you there. So we're just scrolling through and just sharing more of those elements just so you get kind of a full demonstration and walkthrough of how this Why-Buy for Kaiser Ford has been created. And we'll say too, this was done in real collaboration with the dealership. So as Justin was noting earlier, in terms of pushing, whether it be your web provider or an agency to maximize the full potential of that platform, really collaborate and push again too with the creation of your Why-Buy and be a very active participant in terms of how that information is being displayed if you're tasking somebody else with doing it. And then we'll jump kind of back into that presentation. And again, kind of a similar format, just kind of bullet point out for you here some of those core pieces as part of this, looking at a Why-Buy and building this sort of immersive Why-Buy as part of the overall web experience. The first of which is, if even just starting from scratch, if you're looking and saying to myself, I don't even really have a defined Why-Buy, how am I going to go about doing that? One of the best places and first places to look would be your customer testimonials. Those customer testimonials, they're going to tell you what's important to them as a customer, as a car buyer from your dealership, and also just as importantly, what you do very well. And from there, you can build and craft a strong Why-Buy. Again, we've talked about the consistent, the cohesive messaging there, the stimulating, not static presentation of information. And again, one of the most stimulating ways in which to present your information is through video. And then multiple calls to action for engagement or conversion. And that engagement conversion can be to even further learn more about the dealership itself or moving them over to whether it's inventory, to service, whatever it might be that's going to be there for business generation.
And so next, still staying with the overall website user experience, but really focusing here on creating a non-disruptive environment for your site traffic. We really want to caution you here and advise that, really be careful before you hand over the keys to the castle, AKA your dealership website. And so, we want to make sure that the website experience is not disruptive as we kind of move on here, specifically as it relates to these third-party conversion tools. So whether it's maybe a chat or text provider, I think is what we're focused on here for this presentation. Want to make sure that they're not stealing the show and really what could amount to a hostile takeover. So what you're looking at here is a screenshot of a client when we first started working with them. If you can believe it, we're actually on a vehicle detail page right now, but you wouldn't know it because the car is certainly not the star, and that particular chat widget is really vying for our attention, completely covering that vehicle photograph. And so we see this all too often, and what we really want to invite you to do here is download our mobile vendor vetting checklist. So you can visit our website here. There's a number of other great resources, but download that to really help guide and lead as you're partnering with various third-party providers before you hand over the keys to your castle.
And next, we're going to move over then and look at the digital retailing. Certainly a hot topic and something that's been a real point of focus for dealerships this years prior, but in particular this year with COVID, of course. And so really what we want to emphasize here and look at is really how do we kind of stand out in the sea of digital retailing sameness. And so how can we kind of stream maybe against the current here and differentiate ourselves from all the other dealerships that are using in some way some type of digital retailing product. And so here again, we want to draw jump to a live web example. In this case, again, Toyota of Watertown, after assisting them in removing those kind of hostile takeover elements. But we'll go ahead, Justin, here and look then at a VDP.
Yeah, so really kind of drawing your attention here, one of the first things we did was kind of remove any non-essential calls to action. So you see confirm availability there prominently placed, but really kind of focusing here in this example of the at-home driver's seat. So Toyota of Watertown decided to adopt this Cox digital retailing product. It was a similar digital retailing product to other Toyota dealerships in their area. They were really tasking us with creating a unique message, including logo, tagline, how we would actually walk through each of those steps. So in collaborating with the client, here's what we developed, which is this at-home driver's seat instead of all this messaging. We've even kind of custom labeled or badged the digital retailing form itself, and the client has been quite happy with this. Just noting too that this messaging you're seeing here beneath the 8 views in the past 7 days truncates on mobile, so it's an exceptional mobile experience as well and doesn't create an unnecessarily long VDP.
Another quick VDP we wanted to share, this isn't a client of ours, full disclosure here, but an element that we really liked with them incorporating and how they've uniquely branded their digital retailing is into the vehicle photo slideshow. So you can see here they have a merchandising tile. We'll just go ahead and click on that. And this is their remote start. So this is their digital retailing product. You can see how they've displayed that and just really thought it was a unique, creative, fun thing to do, or a unique way to incorporate that into the VDPs. Kind of then looking at the, again, kind of key takeaways here, starting first, as Justin was noting, is really preventing that hostile takeover of those third-party providers and really being careful in handing over those keys to the castle. Next would be removing any sort of non-essential calls to action. Less is certainly more in this case. And then 2, custom branding your digital retailing, and specifically then 2, say incorporating those sort of merchandising tiles as we just saw with Kain.
And transitioning now over to service, we really want to treat fixed ops as the backbone of the dealership and not just the back end. And so very recently here for one of our clients, we had developed this very quick, easy, and convenient way for their service customers to add coupons to their mobile devices. So as you can see here, through Apple Wallet and then also for Android devices, it's very easy for folks to be able to click that, immediately receive that item, and then actively add it to their Apple Wallet. Again, just in an effort to make it as easy and convenient for service coupon redemption at this dealership.
And next, quickly touching here on email as the last element. And so I think it comes as no surprise, a statistic like this, that 50+% of all email opens happen on mobile devices. And so really then when we're looking at smartphones, we think of them less as a phone itself and more of a mobile inbox that happens to have a phone app. And so again, as you're building and sending emails, you want to keep mobile top of mind and really hone in on what that mobile rendering and experience is going to look like for that email recipient.
And we talked earlier about the incorporation of video on your dealership homepage and your dealership Wi-Fi messaging as well. Obviously, email should very much include video as well when you're sending those sort of emails, whether it's sales or in this example, you're seeing a service reminder email. We know that according to Wistia, that overall site or overall engagement increases by 300% with the incorporation of video content in your email in place of a regular graphic.
And so lastly here, we just wanted to share with you some quick kind of cool tools of the trade for email. The first of which is GLOC apps. And so this is there for deliverability testing. We say you can build and send the best email in the world. If it ends up in the spam or junk folder, it's all for naught. So GLOC apps can help with deliverability testing. Next is Litmus Email Builder. And so this is a tool that we use to build our emails and then also ensure that they render or display properly across all different devices as well as mail clients. UTM tracking codes are there to help you understand beyond just the open and say click rate. So you can really understand when that email recipient goes from their inbox over to your website through a click, what sort of behavior activity is taking place then on your website. And then lastly, really good emails is a place to find really good email inspiration. So it's a resource we use quite often. And so kind of looking here at a few of the key takeaways then, so we've talked about this a number of times already, right? But the incorporation of video content on your website and in your email marketing. And the next, again, is a cohesive and consistent overall why-buy message.
Next, really making sure that you're vetting all of those third-party providers, and again, being very reluctant to hand over the keys to the castle until you've gone through that process. We want you to custom brand your digital retailing to stand out in the sea of sameness, and really think more about how you can make it easy and convenient for folks when they're also engaging with your service department and being able to download or add those service coupons to their Apple or Android devices. And with that, we just want to thank you all for kind of attending our virtual session. It was really great to be here today with everyone. Would invite you again to visit our website, download the mobile vendor vetting checklist. There's also access to 7 great emails that we affectionately refer to as the little emails that could. You can download those today to start generating results and responses for your dealership, and also have access to over 100 quick tip dynamic solutions videos. So with that, we'll hand it back over to you, Dave.
That was so sound. I mean, it was just really great, excellent examples of the things that we maybe don't pay attention to as you were going through it. We just launched a new website, and there are some things I'm going to take note of and want to make sure that we incorporate that into that. And some of the tools, particularly from the email sending, we sometimes don't worry too much about them. We just go in and routinely go through the chore of hitting send on emails, and you all run into it all the time. So excellent guidance, and I certainly appreciate that. So once again, excellent presentation. I already have a question that came in, and one of those was, when the OEM mandates the website design, how do you make some of those changes? And I know that you all as a marketing agency have a lot of interaction with a lot of OEMs. How would you answer that question?
Yeah, Justin, you want to lead here?
Sure, yeah. So with those designs, we're always submitting to the compliance review, getting a full review of those designs. Obviously, there's some manufacturers that provide more autonomy, more freedom than others, but where there are compliance restrictions, we are always kind of submitting those. And kind of oftentimes with these website providers, we're using a raw HTML widget. We're leaving the overall maybe color scheme, the font library, the OEM logo alone, but we found that we have quite a bit of freedom as it relates to the overall design below the slideshow. We haven't really seen any issues there.
So the other question has to do with videos, and let's see, they said, I wouldn't dare put my salespeople on our website doing videos. So let's talk about that. The complexity of doing, video shoots versus, let's let Mary go out there and do video because she's got an Instagram page. So, or Joe because he's a YouTube connoisseur and feels like he knows what to do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you want to be a little bit careful there about just kind of giving everyone free reign, I guess, with video. A lot of the video content that you're seeing, say, on the website is professionally done then, right? And in some instances, maybe using some actors or the like to make sure you get that message just exactly as you want it to. Or maybe it's the owner, the general manager, select individuals that are conveying that messaging. But we also think, in the case of, say, we were noting video by way of email, using a product like CoVideo, DriveCentric as a CRM really empowers that sales team, right, to record video and make it very easy to send video as email. And so in those cases, I think a lot of the authenticity is something people really want. It's okay if, during a video walk around, maybe there's a little bit of stumbling, or the focus isn't just perfectly right. There's a little zoom in when maybe it should be a little zoomed out. As long as, clearly the overall messaging itself is getting conveyed, I think people are a little bit tolerant of that. So I think it's just kind of a matter of, again, where is that video being hosted, and what's it really trying to accomplish? There's certainly the case for the very professionally well done, highly polished video content, which I think is more so maybe for your website, particularly trying to convey certain messaging. But again, I think you'd be surprised sometimes in terms of, with your sales team or your BDC or whomever, or even say in fixed ops, what they're capable of doing in front of a camera.
Yeah, so I will tell you that I'm suspicious that Steve Ressler's on the chat because it says Ben, my hero. So I trust that he was getting geared up for his presentation tomorrow. But
I wasn't teeing him up either. I was, love Steve. He's great, as is that product. It wasn't a plug, a shameless plug in any way, shape, or form. It's just the truth in terms of what that CRM is capable of doing.
So you're not a paid spokesperson for Dropbox. I appreciate it. So here's the next question that came up. It says, we don't do much email at our dealership. We've kind of almost exclusively gone to text, and here you are talking about email. What's ridiculous is email is not uncool. Email still works. Tell us a little bit about your all's experience, because you all get to see it each day at Acton Toyota.
Yeah, I mean, definitely text communication, particularly for one-to-one communication, is excellent. And so definitely would encourage, as you're talking about, kind of sales processes and the like, to be able to move with an inquiry to one-to-one communication. And if it can occur by way of text, that's excellent. But with email, still invaluable, and particularly when you're talking about large campaigns, you're going to want to be doing that through email. And again, you can still effectively reach large audiences through email, I think, in ways you can't quite with text. And so certainly a place for both of those forms of communication. I wouldn't encourage any dealership to kind of shy away from one over the other. They're tools in your communication toolbox. And as long as you're using them effectively, you can really gain some good results with them.
Good. So another question came in, and it talks about website design. And the question, first and foremost, and I'll let you all give this answer. It says, do they build websites? And what role do you all have in helping with the design of websites?
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, so I mean, we really work to maximize the existing website provider for each of our clients. We don't build sites, but we build content within the existing website content management system.
Okay, so just to go a little bit deeper than that, it's almost like there used to be a company that we heard about and we saw their commercials, and their tagline was, we're BASF, we don't make it, we make it better. And
yeah, that's exactly right.
You guys do. All right, well, that makes sense. Any closing thoughts, anything that as you watched the video came to mind where you all felt like, oh, I wish I'd have said that?
I thought Justin was perfect. Thought he nailed it. As far as where I could have been better. Geez, I do see from Stevie's asking here, how long should a video on the website be? I don't know if we want to ignore that.
Yeah, please.
Question. 30 seconds. I think the video needs 1 minute. Now he's just throwing out random times. I think the video just needs to be as long as it needs to be to communicate, convey what you want it to. Admittedly, we have short, you hear stats like, hey, average attention span now is 8 seconds, worse than that of a goldfish. This was a Microsoft study a few years back. But, as long as I think the content itself is very good, the messaging is very good, you can hold one's attention. So video just needs to be as long as it needs to be to convey what you want.
Mm-hmm. Oh, looks like Chelsea has a question to pose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of, we kind of teach the car face place. So something that I was asked is, should the video be, more about the car, or should they be in it? And obviously, what if they're afraid to get in the video?
Justin, you want to handle that?
Yeah, I mean, we're actually working right now with Acton. They have a new BDC manager, and he's definitely a little camera shy, but just making sure that when he is filming those videos, he certainly can be on camera for the first few seconds, addressing the customer by their first name, but then really making the car the star. And it just as importantly, and this was touched on earlier, really answering those customer questions that come in on that initial inquiry, taking time to read that inquiry, kind of digest that information, and make sure that you include those answers while you're previewing that vehicle for that customer in the video.
Great. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much.